Hi, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and get started. Please keep yourselves muted for the duration of the call. I'll pause for questions throughout the call, and you can definitely raise your questions then. Madhvi, as always, will be monitoring the chat box, so feel free to put your questions in the chat box. We'll also have a couple staff members from Technovation joining. It's very early here in the US, so they might be joining for a later portion of the call, but Joe and Ali will be making guest appearances to help out with curriculum and platform questions. With that being said, we have over 10,000 girls registered for this season from over 100 different countries. We have, I believe, over 1,000 submissions that have already been started. So that's a wonderful, encouraging sign that's more than at any point in Technovation's history this early on. So we're seeing great progress, and we're really excited for this final push these last few weeks. So hang in with us, hang out there with us. We know that it's hard. We know that these last few weeks can be stressful, but we're nearing the end, and it's exciting to see all the hard work that's paying off, both from students, mentors, and from all of you as regional ambassadors. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get started and share my screen. I have a slide deck to share with all of you. Okay, so today's webinar, the purpose of it is to provide an overview of the submission process, managing regional pitch events, and also judging requirements. Before we begin, I wanted to briefly go over the Technovation timeline. We're nearing submission just a few more weeks. April 26th at 5 p.m. Pacific time is when students need to submit their deliverables. Our official regional pitch events will be held May 1st through May 14th. So please ensure that your event is falling within those days. If you want your students to advance on to semifinals from your regional pitch event, you need to make sure that it's within that time frame. I've reached out to a couple of you who had an incorrect date, but please make sure that if you want it to be official, it needs to be within that time frame. May 1st is when our judging platform will open and judges can start submitting their scores. Our semifinalists will be announced May 24th, with our finalists announced June 8th. And the culmination of our season will be World Pitch, which will take place August 7th through the 11th here in Silicon Valley in California. A few brief reminders. Our student ambassador applications, this is not public, so we haven't told this to the students yet or our broader audience, but we are extending that application. So just be prepared. We'll give an announcement early next week that students can take their time on the student ambassador applications. Sometime in early to mid-May, that's when we'll allow students to submit their applications. We know it's a busy time of year for them. There are many students from this season who want to participate. So we know it's hectic with submission right now. Our visiting team applications are due April 15th. I think I had a typo in one of my recent emails, but they are due April 15th, so please keep that in mind. This is intended for regional ambassadors who want to send a non-competing team to World Pitch to participate in the same activities, stay at the same hotel as the finalists, participate in the workshops, etc. So this is a great opportunity for girls who may not have had the chance to travel to World Pitch otherwise. And as a reminder, you would be responsible for fundraising and getting the girls here, although we would handle all the logistics once they arrive. I'm happy to answer questions about that as well on this call. And parental consent forms also need to be on file before April 26th. So if there are students who still don't have their forms on file, they need to do so before submission, otherwise they won't be able to submit. Okay, moving along. Can everyone hear me okay? Just making sure that you can hear me. Okay, looks good. All right, moving along, team formation. This is a very critical time period for the girls because they need to form teams on the platform before April 26th in order to submit. Many of the girls are registered, which is great, but they could be working offline with their team, but they need to be on the platform registered as a team. So one of the students can create the team and invite her team members to join via email, or the students can request to join the existing team. But either way, they need to officially form their team on the platform in order to submit. We've had a little bit of confusion about how divisions are formed. So divisions are automatically formed by the eldest girl's birthday. The senior division is made up of teams with at least one member who will turn 15 before August 1st, and the junior division is made up of teams with all members under the age of 15 before August 1st. So senior division, they have to submit their business plan, which is different from the junior division. And so some teams have thought that they were junior division because they were all 14 or 13, but one of the members turned 15 before August 1st. So it's really important that you're clear on those rules so that the girls know what their deliverables are and how it would change if they're a senior division. If you or the teams or mentors are a little bit confused about that process of creating or joining a team, we do have a Build a Team curriculum unit, which walks them through step by step with screenshots on how they can create or join a team. So I mentioned that they need to submit the deliverables according to their division. They'll be submitting their app, business plan if they're in the senior division, their demo video, and their pitch video. So please make sure that you know the submission guidelines very well so that you can help the girls and help the mentors. It's really important that girls submit their deliverables as they finish them. So as soon as they have their app description, great, upload it. As soon as they have their technical checklist done, great, verify it. They need to do this as soon as they're completing each deliverable so that they're not waiting until the last minute. We don't want any glitches or any confusion to happen the day of. So, you know, traditionally girls wait until the last minute, we know that, but just encourage them the earlier the better to save them stress and confusion the week of. Check your respective time zones to convert the time to your local time because it's at 5 p.m. Pacific time, that's here in California, so make sure that you know what this is in your local time zones. Just for your knowledge, the incomplete submissions will not advance on to the next round. So that's very important. They need to keep that in mind that, you know, even if it's not perfect, they still need to submit it because if it's incomplete, then they're definitely not advancing on to the next round. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what it looks like for students to submit on their platform. We've had a little bit of confusion about where students will begin the submission process. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how students, what it would look like on their dashboard. So this is what it looks like for a student who has not started the submission process yet. They can either see it straight right here, right in front of their face on their dashboard, or they can click My Team's Submission. If they go to the submission guidelines, this is what they're going to see. They're going to see the checklist that helps keep them on track, but there's nowhere to upload anything. So they really need to upload through their student account on my.technovationchallenge.org. So a brand new team who hasn't started submitting yet would click Begin Your Submission. It looks like my internet might be a little bit slow right now, but it would take them through a series of questions. It would ask them to verify that this is their work, oh, here we go. Okay, so you're about to begin submitting your team's work to be judged, reminding them of the submission deadline, and then telling them that it's saved every time they edit so that they can go back and edit it at any time they want. And this is our integrity clause, that everything was created by the students on their team. So here we are. This is their submission progress bar. So as soon as they start adding things, so maybe their app is called Earth Warrior. This app is to help save the environment. They'll be able to select their sustainable development goal here and write about it, and upload their pitch video, their demo video, as well as their technical checklist, and choose which development platform they're using, upload their source code, and when they go back to their dashboard, they'll be able to see their progress on their submission. So they'll see that it's crossed out their name, description, their sustainable development goal, and see what more they need to work on. We're planning on building out a feature so that mentors are also able to help students submit, because we recognize that many students are in areas where internet access may be spotty, and the mentors may be able to do this at their work. So we're planning on building out a feature so that mentors can also upload students' projects for them. I'm going to go ahead and show you what it also looks like as an RA. So on your dashboard, you'll be able to see all of the teams that are within your region. I know many of you have already been monitoring this, but it's a review for you. You can also see your team submissions. So you can see that Coding Geniuses, they started, and you can see their progress here. Looks like they have a lot more work to do. So I need to monitor this team to make sure that they're on time and ready to submit. Okay, I'm going to pause here and see if there's any questions that you might have. Feel free to unmute yourself and let me know what questions you might have. I'm going to check the chat box right now. And also, if you feel like taking your camera off, don't be shy. You can definitely show your face. Okay. Anyone have any questions? Hi, Mel. Nice to see you. Oh, okay, Joe. It looks like Joe might want me to show the public link for students' submissions, so you can see what the students can see what it looks like to judges. And I can briefly show that. Okay, actually, you know what? I'm just gonna, if this is something that people want to see, I can definitely do that for you, but I think I actually might move on. And you can tell students that they can preview this and see what it looks like to judges, but I'm going to move along to the next portion of the presentation, okay? But the deadline, Diana asked what the deadline for judge registration is. They can sign up at any point. It's rolling deadline. We don't have a fixed deadline, so you can make that deadline yourself. If you want to have judges signed up for your event by a certain day, feel free to make that deadline yourself, but we don't have one for judges. It's rolling. Okay, so briefly going over the regional pitch events and the celebration events again. Regional pitch events, 10 teams in senior division, 10 teams in junior division, 3 to 5 judges. Celebration events are unofficial, no minimum number of teams. The teams are judged virtually, and they do not register on the platform for the celebration event. You don't upload that on the platform at all. And your other option is no event. The students are judged in the virtual pool. If you are worried about 10 students or 10 teams coming to your regional pitch event, if you think that you might have less, then you need to tell all of the teams that are planning on going that if you don't show up, then you will be officially judged online in our virtual pool. And we can still make this a celebration event, but no one is guaranteed to go on to the semifinals. So please communicate to them that if you don't show up and you say that you are, then it's not going to be considered an official pitch event, and your scores will be submitted online by virtual judges, and we'll give you feedback at the event, but you're not guaranteed to advance on to semifinals. So please communicate that to your teams. A little bit about the suggested flow of the event. This is something that we haven't really talked about yet. So you can do it a couple different ways. You could have a team demo and exposition where the students have poster boards and the judges walk around to look at their apps and their business plans. That could be in the morning, and then in the afternoon is when the live pitches would take place. The judges would deliberate, and you would announce the awards and the winners who will advance on to the semifinals. If you have a ton of teams that are coming, it may not be possible to fit in the demo and the exposition into your event, and we fully recognize that. But it's mandatory that the judges review the apps and the business plans prior to the event so that they have those scores ready on hand and already on the platform ready to go. The focus of the event would then be on the live pitching and the award announcement. So the judges would already have their scores for the technical entrepreneurship areas, the ideation unit, but they would focus purely on pitching at the event and input those scores and go back and edit anything that they might need to at the event. If they decided that their app and business plan wasn't as good as maybe they previously thought, they can certainly edit it. But the focus would be on the pitching and providing that score and announcing the winners. So if you choose not to have the demo and exposition, you need to ensure that your judges have given scores for the technical and entrepreneurship areas in the ideation units. As a reminder, no mentors for your local teams can be recruited as judges. If you are a mentor as well, you cannot serve as a judge. Students will be providing a live pitch, which is 4 minutes long, so they can't play YouTube video. And they will be creating a PowerPoint slide presentation. So this is different than a celebration event, or if you're not hosting an event. If you're hosting a celebration event, this is not mandatory. They don't need to have a PowerPoint slide presentation. If you're hosting an official regional pitch event where you have 10 or more teams, then they need to upload that slide presentation as part of their submission deliverables. The purpose of the event is really to give constructive feedback. So this isn't American Idol. This isn't one of those judging competitions where people give super harsh feedback. This is meant to be an encouraging environment where if the girls' app is perhaps lacking, then they give them constructive feedback, ways that they can move forward. It's a very positive environment. So please keep that in mind when talking to your judges and preparing them for the event. Make sure that at the event you have lots of copies of your judging rubric. There should be one rubric per team so that they can give them scores for each of the areas, and each team has a rubric set aside for them. Okay, does anyone have any questions? I'm going to take a look at the chat box. Okay, Daniela asked, hello, one of the mentors asked me for the presentation deck for the pitch event. Is there a template that they are meant to be using? No, we don't have a template, so it's pretty open-ended. It's open-ended for them at their discretion. And let's see. Okay, so Rajat asked about the Bay Area events. So we haven't confirmed the venues for that, just as an FYI. But it looks like most of the chat box questions are being answered by Joe and Magvi. Let me know if you feel free to unmute yourself too. Don't be shy. Okay, Pamela asked, regional pitch events should be before April 26th? No. Regional pitch events are only take place between May 1st and May 14th. If you want to have a celebration event, you can host it anytime after April 26th. So a celebration event, as I mentioned, doesn't have a minimum number of teams. The date is very flexible. The format of it is very flexible, but it's anytime after April 26th. The official events are only between May 1st and May 14th. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to manage regional pitch events on the platform and what it looks like for students. So this is probably one of the most important aspects of this presentation. So students have two options for judging. As you know, they have virtual or live pitching if you are hosting an event. Students are automatically enrolled in virtual judging by default, so they have to select a regional pitch event if they want to be judged in person. They can either select this themselves or you can manually add them. And they need to be on a team and need to have started the submission process in order to register for a pitch event. So that's why the team formation and making sure they're on track with submitting their deliverables is very important for your regional pitch event. Mentors also have the ability to sign their team up for a local event. So students can sign up themselves, you can add them to your event, or mentors can add them to your event. So this is what it would look like for a student to register for a regional pitch event. Okay, so here is Team Disney. They're already pretty far along. It looks like they need to upload their app, so they need to upload their source code, verify their checklist, and their demo video. A student would click here to see the regional pitch events, and they would see that they're currently attending virtual judging. Here are all of the events that have been created for their region. This team is based in Mexico, so they're going to see only Mexican events. If Team Disney wants to join the Guadalajara event, they would choose to select this event instead. Now it's going to ask them to upload their pitch presentation. They can also do this later. They don't have to do it right now, so they can always go back to it and upload it. But now they're officially registered for the regional pitch event in Guadalajara. So GDL Good Times, they're currently attending this. They can also choose to remove themselves from this event If they maybe accidentally signed up for it or decided that they don't want to pitch live, they can remove themselves from the event.
Katie.
Yeah.
Don't log out.
Okay.
You go back to your submission and show them what appears brand new.
Yeah.
Right there. Wait, go back. Right there. Teams attending live pitch events. Mm-hmm. Now that's different. That wasn't there last time.
Mm-hmm.
Now that you've selected an event, this page now shows you, because you're attending a live event, you need to do your pitch presentation. And if they go to edit their submission, because you clicked on the public link, that's not going to show it. Now pitch presentation has been added as a box.
Yep. Thanks, Joe.
Yep.
You can see here their progress bar, what they've completed so far. Pitch presentation is right here. And then this is what it's going to look like to judges. So it's very similar to what their dashboard looks like and how they're uploading it, but this is what it's going to look like to the judges. So just an FYI.
And please note, the app description and the sustainable development goal, they're not very long. So, for example, I saw one of the submissions yesterday from Australia, and their sustainable development goal was extremely long. Don't do that. 1 or 2 sentences are fine. They don't need to write an essay.
Yeah, thank you, Joe. That's super helpful.
So I think it helps to look at this page, and if you think this page looks nice and presentable, then you're on track. Mm-hmm. If you think it looks like there's too much content or it doesn't make very much sense, maybe help them think about that and refine it.
Yep, definitely. Yeah. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and log out and show you what it would look like as an RA to add or remove teams from your event. So as a reminder, I showed you what students saw when they logged in to join a regional pitch event, and now I'll show you what it looks like to add or remove teams. Oops. So many different passwords. This is our QA account. So it allows me to have lots of different test accounts. All right. So here are my regional pitch events. It's going to show me all of the different events that are happening within my country. So maybe a different RA created this one in Cancun or Puerto Vallarta, but I can still edit or add or remove teams from that event. So maybe someone signed up for my event and they actually should be going to a different one. I can move them into that one. But let me show you what it looks like to add or remove a team. So if I want to add a senior division team to this event, I would go here and I would say add Capote. Now this team is going to receive an email that I added them. I can also remove them if that was a mistake or they're no longer coming, and they'll receive an email that I removed them. For junior division teams, same thing. You can add or remove a junior or junior team as well. And same with judges. You can add a judge to this event. So I'm going to go ahead and add Joe. Joe is someone who I networked with recently from a local corporation. He's very interested in Technovation and wants to volunteer for my pitch event. So I'll go ahead and add Joe, who will also receive an email that he's been added. So judges can also choose to sign up for your regional pitch event. Similarly to the students, they'll see a screen that says that they're a virtual judge, but they can look and see what events are within their region and sign up for a regional pitch event within their region. So they have that same capability as students to switch from virtual into going into a regional pitch event. And they would see all the teams who are submitting at a regional pitch event, and they'd be able to judge only those teams who are going to be attending your specific event. So when it's the day of the event, they have the ability to see all of the teams who are at the event and submit scores for them.
On May 1st, they'll see it.
That's right, May 1st.
So they'll have until May 15th to finalize the scores online. So they can go back and review it, edit it, think about it, maybe think they were too harsh on an earlier team, and maybe they want to go back and kind of even it out now that they get the point that, you know, kind of what level all the teams are at, that sort of thing. They can go back and review and edit their scores until May 15th.
So here you can go ahead and message all of your teams and judges. If I only want to message the teams, I can do that. And here I would say, like, reminder, you need to submit, blah, blah, blah. And I can preview this and choose to send now, and it would go out to all of your teams. Or you can go back and edit it. So I really can't emphasize enough to how important it is to make sure that your teams are signed up for the event on the platform. Because if they're not signed up for your event, then they will not be visible to the judges who are judging at your event. So if they are not signed up for your event, they're going to be placed into the virtual pool of judging. And the judges will not be able to score their submissions at your live event. So if you have an Eventbrite link, please make sure, or a Facebook page that you're signing up students and their parents and their mentors, that's great, that's fine. Just make sure that you're manually syncing those same students to your event. You can also go ahead, if you're keeping a great tracker of all the teams in your region, you can go ahead and blanket add them. You can add all of them to your event. But you need to make sure that check and make sure their submission status. So if this team had not started yet, it would say submission has not begun here. And you can message those teams, you can get in touch with them and tell them that, hey, you really need to start submitting, otherwise you won't be officially judged. So it's very important to keep track of that, both on your team submissions tab, and then also when you're adding people to your event, you can see their submission status. So please, to ensure that there's no confusion the day of your event, please make sure that all of the correct teams have registered for your event on the platform, either by themselves or their mentor registered them, or you add them to the event. Okay, I'm going to pause there and see what questions we might have. Okay, Rachel asked, is there a quick way to add all teams? And there's not, unfortunately. And she asked, oh, Joe said, are you absolutely sure all teams will pitch at your event? So it's really important to make sure that that you are aware of which teams are on track to submission and be able to gauge how many teams will be coming to your event. And generally we estimate that there's a 50% attrition, so keep that in mind. Some regions, the attrition is much lower and they have a much higher completion rate, but if you're staying in good touch with your teams, you'll know who's ready to submit and who's on track and who's behind. Esther asked a really, really good question. She asked, the deadline to pick the event is April 26th. So we plan to disable the event selection on May 1st. So it's really important that they register for that event by April 26th, or by May 1st, I'm sorry. So make sure that they've registered for that event by May 1st. Okay. Are there any other questions that anyone has? Feel free to unmute. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again. We just have a few more things to go through. So many windows up on my screen. All right, so you can recruit judges throughout April and May. That's a rolling deadline. There is a mandatory judge training for in-person judges, April 13th or April 20th, which is available on their judge dashboard. So when they log in as a judge, they'll see it right there. There's a link to the training, and it will be recorded if they can't make it. I want you as regional ambassadors to also attend this judge training, because you need to be able to guide your judges and be knowledgeable yourself on what the dashboard looks like as a judge and how they'll submit scores, where they will sign up for a regional pitch event on their dashboard. So I want you to attend that training, which is April 13th or April 20th. I can also send you the links to those and their recording. But please make sure that you are going to this training so you can better help your judges. As a reminder, the judges who signed up for regional pitch events will see the team submissions for that specific event, and they can enter scores for those specific teams. And we plan on building a feature to show the highest ranked team so that you can easily announce that winner at the event. Instead of tabulating scores by hand and lots of different paper rubrics, we plan to have a feature built in so that you can see the highest ranking team while you're at the event so that you can easily make that announcement. Submissions are available to review starting May 1st, which I had mentioned. Joe mentioned that judges input the scores and can save them. This is editable, so they can always go back and change them. So they can start reviewing the teams who are attending your event as early as May 1st, entering scores, and then changing them at the event. So bring tablets or compute laptops for them to update their scores if need be. And all scores must be entered by May 15th. If you're having the judges judge all of the different areas, the ideation, technical, entrepreneurship at the event, and you plan on having a paper rubric, please make sure that you're taking pictures of the rubric to make sure that none of the papers get misplaced. So make sure that you have good record keeping at the event if you're planning on using paper rubrics. Briefly, there's 4 different areas that judges will be evaluating student submissions. These are ideation, technical, entrepreneurship, and pitching. Ideation is what is your problem statement? Have you researched it? Have you used facts and statistics? Is it aligning with the Sustainable Development Goal? Technical, how well was the app developed? Are there any noticeable bugs? Did they complete their technical checklist? The entrepreneurship area, this is only for senior division teams. Do they have short-term and long-term goals for their business model? How well was their market research done? How unique are they from other existing apps on the market? And then pitching, this is one of the most crucial areas at a live pitch event, at your regional pitch event. How compelling is their story? Did they convince you? Did they sell you on their idea? As always, here are the resources that are available for you as the regional ambassador. There's the RA resource page, our Slack group. It's been wonderful to see how many people have been contributing to Slack. The regional pitch toolkit, which can be, I didn't go into too much detail on the flow of the event in this presentation, but the regional pitch event toolkit is really, really great for helping you plan the nuts and bolts of your day of event. So make sure you bring your clipboards and pens, or this is how you should put up signage. This should be what your judges need to have to be ready for the event. So the toolkit is a really great resource for you for not only for the rules and regulations, but also for ideas and structuring your event. Also, the fundraising toolkit, judging rubric, submission guidelines, and award structure are all available on the RA resource page, along with the judge recruitment flyers. So if you're seeking to recruit online judges and in-person judges, There's email templates and flyers that are available for you on the resource page. All right, I'm going to stop sharing and let me know if there's any questions. It's been pretty quiet today. I know there was a lot of information, but I want to see what questions you may have on adding or removing teams to your events, the submission process for students on the dashboard, anything about judging.
This is Rachel.
Hi,
and
Rachel.
I always have questions.
Good.
So you have those judge training next week and the week after, and I'm just not sure. I mean, I'm working on recruiting my judges, but it's just the confirmations. I'm aiming to have them for the most part lined up by the 26th, but that is after those mandatory trainings. So, I mean, I want to attend them because I need to know and I need to help them, but I actually intended to do my own with them, just to sort of walk them through registration and things of that sort. So are these going to be recorded so I could refer them to it? Okay.
So it'll be recorded, and you can also have your own mini orientation where maybe you watch the recording together. It is available on their dashboard to view at any time. So don't worry about that, but that's something you could do, is run your own mini orientation and watch the judge training together, and make sure that everyone's clear.
Because I do want them ready to go by May 1st.
Yeah.
That is, of course, the goal, but I'm probably going to still be pulling a few in after May 1st.
Yeah, don't worry. The judge training that's available.
I only need 50, so it's not a big deal. Oh, God.
Yeah, don't worry. Don't worry. So that's fine when and how you do the judge training.
Okay.
As long as they do receive that training.
Is there a link for that yet, or when will that be sent to us? Because I do have people that I'm sending the recruitment out, so I could essentially, if there's a link, send it out to people as part of the recruitment so they could see that if they're already expressed interest, that kind of thing.
Oh, the link for the webinar itself, if they're interested, they can view it. Yeah, let me check with Allie. But
there it is.
There we go. Thank you, Allie.
Okay.
Good. Okay. I'm going to copy and paste that so that I can send that out on the Slack channel and then in the email next week.
Perfect. Because I've got some people have early confirmed as soon as I sent it. A lot of the people that judged last year were excited to see that they could come back again and do it again. So let's get them in fast. But
Good. All right. Okay.
Joe, I think that they're going to be really happy that. Yes, I think they will really enjoy that. So,
Pamela, there's 3 to 5 judges is ideal. 3 is the minimum.
Well, that's so I think, because she heard me say 50, so that might be why there's a concern. But but because I want to break up I have I'm estimating about 50 teams going to be at the showcase, and need 3 scores per person. Right. And I don't want to overload my judges with having to do a lot of work. So I sort of did my math and figured out that if I have 50 judges for 50 teams, they only get 3 to 4 teams apiece. So that's.
So, and Rachel, can you explain that to people, because there could be some people on here who are seeing a large number of teams. I know that Kazakhstan's going to have a lot. There are other regions around the world. So can you walk us through maybe, did you assign judges to teams?
Yes. So what the thing is that all of my judges are going to register as judges for the event, but I will be assigning them their teams to score. So even though they can see everything, they're only supposed to score a certain number. And certain teams, and then they're going to reevaluate our event is on May 13th, so it gives them about almost not quite 2 weeks to, if they're ready to go on May 1st, it gives them not quite 2 weeks to go over their team. So if you think about the workload again, having 3 to 4 teams to score over almost 2 weeks is a reasonable workload, as opposed to 10 teams or 25 teams. So we want them to enjoy the process, not go, oh God, what did I sign up for? And and then they of course will see those teams again they'll see those teams in person at the showcase, and then submit their scores on at that point in time after they see them and evaluate them and review their scores again.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay, so
Yeah.
to recap, you're assigning judges to about 3 to 4 teams each to ensure that everyone has at least 3 scores. And then they'll submit their scores, which are editable. And then the day of the showcase, they'll go back and edit their scores if need be, in case they change their mind or that, and so forth. Okay.
Yep.
And it looks like Tunisia from the chat box is also assigning judges to teams as well. So I think that's a smart idea, Dina, to ensure that, you know, this is efficient. You have 35 teams. That might be really helpful for you to assign judges to teams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's that's what we've had. That's what I've been doing. Also, what I'll be doing for the showcase is having, just in case, because you know Wi-Fi can be spotty. Who knows what is having paper backup? And so last year I made postcards for each judge that had their teams on it, so they could just write down the final score, and I just manually tabulated, because there was a couple that didn't come through. Last year was different, but it was there were a couple that I needed to actually manually score and add up, because there were a couple missing scores and things of that sort. But I had the postcard, so I could actually add that in.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So I see. Amel from Tunisia said, yeah, 20 teams is too much. And because I've had it where they had as much as 10 teams and they were just like, wow, this is a lot of work. So you want them to walk away. Like, again, my judges were like, yay, we get to do it again, versus, oh God, no.
Right.
Can I ask a question?
Yes. Who's speaking?
So this is Esther from Spain. So I think at the end of the journey, you have a deliberation time with all the judges all together, just discussing which is the winner. That's a question for.
Well, so we in Massachusetts we're doing something a little different. So that basically, we have a poster board session, and the 50 judges that I'm talking about are going to submit scores. And those scores determine who our regional winner is that moves to semifinals. But we're also adding a second part to the showcase, because we like to have a big pitch session where the top teams get to pitch to the whole crowd, because that's a different experience. You know, it's one thing to pitch to like your classroom or, you know, a few peers. It's another thing to pitch to a crowd of 300 or 400 people, right? So what we're doing is we have a poster board session in the morning. And over lunch break, the judges will, if you know, they get to submit that we provide lunch, and they'll submit their scores, and then we're going to have our top 10 team pitch, and we'll have a small selection of judges, and it's just a regional thing. It's not official. It's just us, and we're going to have a special presentation award for the top. And just because we like that aspect of having that experience for the teams to pitch in front of a large crowd, because it's not something that you get to do a lot. And also, if they do get to world pitch, they're going to have to do that and be comfortable with that. And you know, that's a big deal. So we want to, and I think also even teams that don't get to pitch, they learn a lot from watching their peers do something like that. Number one rule: you don't die. You know. It's you know, it's a funny thing, but a lot of them are really scared of stepping up in front of people like that. And so when you see it's one thing to see adults doing it because you expect them to do that. You know, your teachers do that. You know, professionals do that. But when you see, 13-year-olds just like you doing that, that shows that's a big learning lesson. And so we didn't want to lose that, because we've done different things in the past, and so we. Again, the poster board session is all the official scoring that determines who goes to semifinals, but we're keeping that, we're doing a big pitch session after a bit of a break so that we can tabulate scores. That's our model. It depends, but we're not having all 50 of my poster board judges deliberate who's moving on. They put in their scores. It's just a regular system. We're not not breaking the system. We're working with it and adding a little extra.
Very good. Thank you, Rachel.
Amel, could you maybe briefly, not to put you on the spot, but Amel, since you have a lot of teams in Tunisia, could you talk about maybe your flow of the event the day of too? And how you did it last year, or how you're thinking about doing it this year? Maybe Amel stepped away right now. But does anyone else have other questions that they might want to ask about the flow of the event, or judging, or adding or removing teams, challenges that you're facing, questions?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, Grace.
My name is Grace from Nigeria. I want to know who is eligible to apply or to join the regional pitch event, because I have an issue now with some of my teams. A lot of them are in the senior division, but they are less than 14 years, and some of them are in the junior division, but they are over 14 years. And I've tried to switch them between teams, but many of them don't like the idea. So I'm thinking of changing their divisions. I don't know how possible that is, or asking them to just go in for the virtual judging. I don't know if that's advisable. What do I do next?
So are you saying that some of the teams are mistakenly in the wrong division? That there are junior division teams who everyone is 14 or below, and they're in senior, yes. And then there's senior division teams who are accidentally in the junior division team? So make sure this is a simple thing, but make sure that their birthdays are right. Maybe they accidentally selected the wrong birthday on the platform, because it's done automatically. So students who are turning 15 before August 1st, they're going to be in the senior division. Even if only one student is turning 15 before August 1st, then the division will be considered senior. So I'm not sure how that would happen with students above 15 accidentally being placed in the junior division, unless their birthday was wrong. So take a look at their birthdays and let me know if something still looks off, because they might not be aware of the 15th. So if their birthday is July 30th and they're turning 15, then they will be in the senior division. So take a look at their birthdays and see if maybe that's where the issue is, or if they have the wrong birthday. But
it's for them to compete, right?
I'm sorry.
It's fine for team members to have mixed ages. It's fine to have people who are less than years in the senior division.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay to have mixed ages in a team. And lots of teams have mixed ages. Thanks.
Yeah, sorry, I can talk now. I'm in an open space, so I had to leave.
No problem.
So last year we had 20 teams pitching during the national pitch, and I asked the different judges to review the applications beforehand. But we had 20 teams pitching during the day, so it was really exhausting for the judges because they had to review the scores they did attribute, and they did also go with the teams for demos during the breaks, so they didn't even go for lunch break or coffee break. So they were, by the end of the day, they were really exhausted. So this is why we are thinking about having attributing teams to different judges, and then they can adjust, as Rachel said, they can adjust during the national pitch day when they hear the live pitch and discuss with the other judges who are in the panel. So I'm thinking about having 2 different judging panels this year, 5 members in each panel, so a total of 10 judges, and then assigning 3 judges per team.
And Amel, on the day of your event, are you going to be doing a demo or showcase, or is it only going to be live pitching the day of the event?
I think it's gonna be mainly live pitching. We won't have time to do a demo, but then the judges are free to request a demo from the teams if they would like to.
Okay, thank you.
Especially the one assigned to the team, I think, yeah, they would definitely request a demo, because last year the different judges had to review all the applications of the 20 teams. So it's going to be easier this year if they have to see the demo of 3 or 4 different teams.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for sharing.
Sure.
So Alicia asked, at the celebration event, we don't have to follow the judging rubric precisely, right? So because it's a celebration event, this is more open-ended. It would be good to follow the judging rubric, because the girls are that's what they're going to be judged on in the virtual pool. So even if you're providing feedback at the event, it would be good to follow those 4 categories of ideation, technical, entrepreneurship, and pitching, because that's what they will be evaluated on virtually with the global teams. But you can structure the awards how you want. So you could have like National Winner of Ukraine, Most Innovative App, Best Presentation. So you could give the awards out as you see fit, as long as they know that they're entering the virtual pool of judging and that this is a Ukrainian national celebration. But yeah, feel free to give out the awards and customize it, but I definitely would prefer that you follow the judging rubric, those 4 key areas, just because they're going to be judged on that globally with the other contestants. Mm-hmm.
Katie, sorry, just want to jump in and add one other thing. Please be careful to ensure that your judges have input the scores into the system by May 15th, the latest, because sometimes, it's so difficult to get hold of the judges. They have put the pieces, put the scores on paper. So it's kind of difficult for you to get hold of the judges to update the scores. But please make sure that all the scores are in the system by May 15th, because we have to tabulate it and move the teams to the next round. So you might have to run after the judges a little bit, but I just wanted to put that on the table, that try and get the scores at the event. As Joe said, this is they can use tablets. If that's not possible, then please ensure that by latest, we'll not be able to extend the deadline because we want teams to move to the next round. So just wanted to emphasize that that's also a critical piece after the event.
And you as a regional ambassador will not be able to manage those scores to keep it very fair and transparent. And to prevent any conflicts of interest, you will not be able to upload that. That's up to the judges. They need to submit those themselves. I had one other thought that I was going to tell all of you. Okay, it escaped my mind. If it comes back, I'll ping everyone on Slack or put it in an email. But any other questions? Because it's already 8 o'clock, so we got to get going. Dina asked if judges can put their scores on paper before the regional day. Yes, they can, but I think it will be much more efficient for them to put it onto the site and review and edit them online rather than on paper. Okay. All right, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and end the webinar. This is what I was going to say. All right, if you want to have a one-on-one meeting with me to discuss the regional pitch event, especially if you're in a region where you have a lot of teams participating and you just want to go over the flow of the event with me, I'm willing to do a one-on-one with you beforehand, okay? So any questions or concerns that you have, let me know. I'm open and accessible, whether it's about fundraising, the flow of the event. I know that this can be challenging and we have a lot of new RAs this year. So sometimes the group sessions may spark questions with you and you might want to follow up with me one-on-one, and I'm happy to do that for you because I know this is the final stretch. All right, that being said, Goodbye, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. And a big shout out to Joe, Ali, and Madhvi for joining from Technovation side. And it's so great to see so many people from around the world joining today's call. All right. Thank you, everyone. Bye.